Welcome back, my beautiful mimosas, to the Phoenix Priestess podcast. This is our 21st podcast. Welcome. Welcome to your soul self sanctuary, your Phoenix Priestess portal to support you in priestessing your permissions, your presence, and power. So when we grant ourselves permission to remember to call back our power, our innate, raw, real, whole power that we have placed in other places, in other systems, with other people, for whatever reason, in this lifetime or others, when we retrieve, when we fall back those pieces, our power is able to produce the presence. So, presence as in our soul gifts that were called in and that were cultivated for lifetimes within us. And then we can also give presence in the now to all that we are embodying and incarnating. That's a new one. Embodying. Oh my God, so good. Exactly. That we are embodying in this lifetime. So you get the gist, my dears. These are my gifts to you, sacred alchemical activations for you to anoint yourself with one word, maybe a phrase, or maybe an invitation or an invocation that you hear through this podcast. So your soul can be anointed again in its own solve. That's why I call it soul solve. So soul songs, when you hear in the MMM sanctuary, when I name soul songs, it's each and every single one of us have our particular ways, our presence that want to be shared in our own unique way through voice. And it can be written, it can be spoken, it can be sung. It can be said through our food. It can be said through our art, even if there are no words. There is there is that special potency that is transmitted through your own unique soul song. And my wish is that every mystic remembers that she is called forth to share in service of her soul and in service of love in this lifetime. That whatever is hers to be shared, whatever is yours to be shared, yearns to be heard, yearns to be received by others. So, welcome, my beautiful. In this podcast, I wanted to share a little. I wanted to share the sacred themes that I feel are coming through during this time. This is a potent week, if not one of the most potent weeks of the year. Tomorrow, on the 17th of February, so obviously, whenever you hear me, I'm recording it the day before, we end in Chinese astro. There is the changing of the batons from the snake to the fire horse. And so it is a year I'm going to go one by one. So, one, we're going to begin with Chinese astrology. Last year was one where we were at an ending period. Not only that, but symbolically speaking in numerology, this is a number 1 year. So last year was a number 9 year. So the same symbology. We'd gone through a 9 year mark. I was going to say 9 month because for me, it's the same mirror as the mother who has held within her the 9 month container. It's same number, 9 months, 9 years. It's that same, it's the same like mythology. It's the same essence where something has been built, something has been created, something has been experienced for nine. And then you're there at that cusp, reaping the wisdom, sometimes also grieving what is time to be surrendered and let go in order for the anew, the number one, to come. And so it is a time. So if you'd like to take a minute and just pause it, and after you hear the invitation, just to take a moment to see how much you've grown, all that you have lived and experienced in this 9 year cycle. You can look through your pictures, you can write it down, all of the miraculous things that happened that you didn't expect, all of the things that you were wanting to be in the manifestation of within yourself. Not only like, I want to manifest this, but what were the things that you were wanting to alchemize and become the activist, the amor in your own essence. And so this is this is the reaping all that you have lived. It's a beautiful feminine number of compassion and love and acceptance for all that has been, including all of the grief and the pain lived and the things that need to be surrendered. And so if you'd like to take a moment, pause. And if not, you are being welcomed into a fire horse year. You've already heard me speak that fire is basically the element. It's like the Leo, right? Fire this year is basically taking center stage. And so just think fire is our vital life. It's the blood, it's like the blood of life. It's our vitality, it's our passion, it's our life force, it's our spark, it's the shine. It's that is awake in us. It's the redness, like it's the flushing, it's the being turned on by life more and more. And so we can we can allow that part of us to rise and feel free because the horse embodies freedom. It's here to show us how to be authentically you and move forward as you are with courage. But also in a fire year, you've heard me speak of all of the different some of the different planets that are going to be in fire signs this year. And so also our shadows and each other's shadows and the collective shadows are also going to be at play. So condemning someone with our words, othering people, shaming people, judging people, up to like the biggest extreme, hurting and killing, et cetera, et cetera. So those are the great shadows of fire. Um, and we are all being invited to allow this momentum in this week to help us to move forward with our intentions, with our prayers, with our visions. So we're still in Aquarius, and Aquarius is an air sign. And tomorrow is, so this is number two. Uh, Tomorrow is a new moon in Aquarius. And remember when I speak in these alchemical activations, meditations, whatever you want to call these shares, these types of shares that I share, um, remember that Aquarius is the third. So just think Gemini is the first, mind, knowledge, curiosity, speaking, Libra, communication, and Libra, then our relationships with others, right? Human beings. So how that mind, our spoken word is then communicated as well through our heart in serving others through love, but also serving ourselves first and foremost, and serving and falling in love and asking God to show them itself, however you call God, showing, like, allowing God to come in communion with you. Those are the highest essence of Libra. Libra is here literally to serve God and to be that sign that speaks and practices showing love in its highest form. And in Aquarius, Aquarius is also the air sign. Just think of that I just named, and think of it now outside of our bodies, all of us literally as if we're tuning in energetically with each other, and we're all tuning in our own unique ways and sending our unique, because that's very Aquarius, our unique waves of these visions and intentions. It's almost as if we're all in orgasmic prayer. In highest form, Aquarius is here to reveal, like, not only rebel, like it's like the revolution, like they want to break free from outdated systems. But think of it this way: they want to revel in the newness, and they want to share it. They want to share it far and wide collectively in the collective energetic field. And so Aquarius is known to be the sign of technology. So imagine that inside in our own technology, our own beings, we are being the vessel of that. And then we're using the waves of technology to support us and each other to use language in order to create more light and not separation. And so this brings me to the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl in North America, for those of you who don't know, the football game, like the biggest football game that happens in North America between the last two teams, it's like totally first chakra material. So at the Super Bowl, Bad Bunny, the Spanish singer, the uh, cantante puertorriqueño, was invited to be the halftime show. And so, what I want to transmit is that if you were able to see it, if you did not, I invite you to see it, because he was embodying this energy in its highest form. Even if some of his songs weren't all about love and light, his energy was, the people's energy were, the visuals were, the stories were, the words that were written on the football. I think it was "We All Together" or something like that. Like it was literally. And this, that's very Aquarius and it's very Pisces. So at the end of, in a couple of days, February 18th, 19th, we change from an air sign of Aquarius to Pisces water sign, which is we are the one sign. And he literally gifted us that energetic. The last banner that said, it was like, it was that saying of you know, eh, the only thing stronger than hate is love, or something like that. Um, that basically, like, the language that was spoken was one of union, of one of coming together, not of divisiveness. And at the same time, there was another show happening, and the energy of that show was the opposite. And funny enough, in our systems, we still hold more, many of us still hold more trauma in our systems. And as we begin to heal our, our wounds and our stories and all of the pain that is stored in our bodies, we begin to recognize layer by layer by layer that we are safe in our bodies. We are safe in this day. We are safe in our home. We are safe in our community. But what happens also is that through technology and through movies and through social media, there's still a lot of waves that are being shared that are not that of love and unity. And so it keeps triggering for many of us who have not, who are in the beginning or middle part of our healing journey, it keeps re-triggering and re-traumatizing that we are not safe to come out. We are not, it's not safe for us to share our gifts, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm saying this to remind us because someone shared, and I know it's on the internet, the literal amount of people who were listening to that halftime show versus the other halftime show was such a small percentage. But what happens is when hateful words or comments are shared from one person to another, or from one person to a group, or from one person then inside of a community and the community back and forth, then the ripples can sometimes feel louder than the truth of there are more people speaking love and light language. And so my invitation, my invocation is that we use this time, we use today, we use this week, we use this month. It's also eclipse season, so that we use this energy of surrender with eclipse season, of letting go of all of our old thought patterns, of allowing ourselves to be renewed through also the language that we speak in our mind towards ourselves, in our hearts towards others, and in our voice to be shared. We are really coming into a sacred era where every word that we share, again, to ourselves, in our own mind, to ourselves, even to our beloved best friends, best soul sisters, our partners, um, our therapists, our circles, our communities, the internet, that we really allow this filter that we are not going to go there. We are not going to other another person. We are going to commit to taking the action in our everyday life with peace, with love, and with that momentum of our own power to share our presence with others. So it doesn't mean that you're checking out. It doesn't mean that you don't see what happens around you. It doesn't mean that you don't that 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 you're not being real with what is happening. What it means is that you see clearly that what you create in the moment to moment is more potent than staying stuck in these old stories that keep us shackled. When we keep re-saying the same stories, talking about a person, talking about a group, talking about what they're doing, what we're doing is notice that there is no creation. There is no creation energy. There is no connection energy. There is no compassion energy. And when we continue to be in relationship with our own healing, we recognize that we are always being called to be more compassionate with ourselves and all of the things that we've had to grow, all of the things that we've had to accept within our shadows, and that we have to continue to accept with all of the things that we have done in the past. And that as we tend that and we create moment to moment with our art, with our intentions, with our action, then we can create change. We can obviously support others. We can inspire others. We can uplift others. But it is also a time. So, in the last 10 years, with a change of the snake to the horse, it is also the invitation for us, brothers and sisters, as healers, as change makers, to recognize that we have kept the resonance going of thinking and feeling that we are the saviors, that we are the judges. We are the ones that have to save our best friends, that have to save our brothers and sisters, that have to support them in that old energetic. We are in an era in which we are being invited to remember our sovereignty, to remember that we already live in satiation, that it is our soul's work to remember that, to remember that there's a rebirth that's wanting to be had within us. No one can give us that. Not even a shaman or a mystic or a healer can give us that experience. That experience has to be born from within. Yes, we can do A, B, C, D, but layer by layer, after we've done, say, that first layer, there's more rites of passages. When we get to the rite of passage where we recognize no one can save us, it's my responsibility to be in right relationship with my contract in this lifetime, with my soul gifts. That's how you use priestess power-filled words, where we call back our energy and we remember our safety and our satiation. So Pisces season is coming in a couple of days. From the wind, we move into the water. And I have a recommendation for those of you who have bathtubs or are near a body of water, for you to be inside of water and be held as much as possible. I know that for the Northern Hemisphere, it's going to be cold. So if you can be in some type of hot water and get into that somehow, that would be much easier, obviously. And if not, you can visualize it. You can literally just visualize how it feels to take a warm bath. How does it feel to float in the ocean? Because, like the snake symbology, number 9, and Pisces being the last, obviously it's the 12th, so it's not number 9, but it's the last one in the zodiac. And so it's that last feeling of being held within the womb, of being held within the mother, being held on earth, being supported always. And it's we came from water. We came from within water, within our mothers. The earth is held by water. The water is also like the amniotic fluid. And so using the water element in its highest form and allowing us to feel supported during these fiery times is a great tool and technique that we can use. Obviously, it might have to be a cold dip, but if that feels too stressful, then imagine the last time you did have that feeling in a bathtub or the ocean or a lake that was not freezing. And if you do feel the resonance of that affirming summer, what I call in my last YouTube video, I spoke about the power of words and how words also relate to the seasons. And so, and how we can notice even within when we speak and when we pray and when we're in different seasons, how words in our feminine sacred way, if we can use the power of words that are aligned with the season, it even becomes more powerful. So, what that means is if in those bodies of water you felt supported and you do feel that resonance in this moment, or when you do that meditation tonight, or whenever you feel most called, only say, I am supported, I'm feeling supported, um, or I am supported. Only say those words. My invitation in this season of my life is for us as mystics, as muses, as mothers, as makers, is to really only speak as so. So as the energy is in that moment, that is what we speak, rather than the invitation that we have. If that works for you, use it. But the invitation that we have been taught in this last decade, which is um, like fake it until you make it, which I have absolutely done. In this era, it's not resonating with me. So these are the tools and techniques that I use in my everyday life to live as a mama fester that I want to share with you. And so if you are feeling the words, I am supported, then say them. Say them when you feel them. When you don't feel them and you're like feeling dry, there's no support, no one here, I'm all alone, I don't know how to do this. That is a winter season when, like, God, I don't know where you are, tribe, community, partner, like where you don't see another person showing up, right? In whatever shape, way, or form, you feel there's no one there. And we don't say, I'm supported. My invitation is to make the prayer a longing call. May I feel supported. May I open myself to receive. May I allow the light to come in. May I allow myself to be held. So notice the difference of how language can penetrate deeply when there is that resonance, when we feel seen by the words, to how we really feel in our insides. Or, for example, if you've been holding on or controlling, it's like, may I release? May I release? May I surrender? Or if you are feeling it and it's like a lightning. This week in the reading in Soul Satiation's poetry reading of the week, Lightning Strike Me was literally the poem. And it is that when lightning strikes, it's that fire element and there's a crack inside of you. And that's where the light can come in and something new can emerge. But until then, we're still playing the same game. And so I release the control of thinking I know how to do it. I just, I surrender. Show me the way. And so as we close our time together, as if we're all sitting in circle, wherever we're seated, lying down, doing something. I've never said this, but I really invite us to hear these podcasts when you're doing one thing at a time. Sure, if you want to be walking on the beach, it's like that walking meditation. But try not to be multitasking, like doing uh, like a big other something while listening to these activations. That's my invitation. Always you do you. But energetically tune in to that vision that you have for your own dream. What is your own special dream? Your own magical life? Take a couple of moments and visualize what that looks like in your work, what that looks like in relationship with your children, with your partner, with the people that are around you, with the things that you offer and that you create and you gift to this world, and that you receive, obviously, in return. Life gives back to you in many different ways. Visualize you saying it, you living it, you sharing it far and wide, even for those of us who don't really go far and wide. And it's just like we're mainly in our homes with our family. You can still be a mystic, you can still be a muse, and literally, like, almost never speak to anybody and only be with your family. Think that who are you are speaking to is your legacy. You have children. Maybe one of those children will have children. And if they don't, then as if you're speaking to the cells and the souls within each of the beautiful beings that you chose to be your family. Visualize you inspiring, you supporting, you manifesting, you teaching, creating, making that lights you up. May we all know our holy worthiness in our own divine and quirky and human uniqueness and authenticity. May our own special sacred ways be honored first and foremost by ourselves. May we welcome those parts and pieces that we have cast away. May we welcome and embrace them back into wholeness. They are loved, they are needed, they're needed by us first and foremost. So as we stand in our particularities, in our differences, as we stand together, we can keep sharing our stories that uplift and that serve and benefit in the highest good of all in this moment. As we can for today, for this week, for this month, I invite us to make a sacred commitment to not gossip, to not speak ill of another person. I think that's a saying. Or speak hatred, speak evil, speak negatively, whatever you want to call it. Let's stop that. Let's not feed into it. Let's not watch things. Let's not allow others to speak to us in the same way or about other people. Imagine one day, like one day. Remember COVID when people went at home? Imagine a day, or imagine an hour, or imagine a minute where people stop othering, people stop shaming each other, people stop judging each other, people stop controlling each other, people hurting or killing each other. And so we can be the change makers by making even small steps like this, committing for a day. And then if when we remember in 2 or 3 days that, oops, we kind of forgot, do it again. See if you can do it for this whole eclipse season or for the whole of February before the tropical, in tropical astrology before the turning to Aries season. See if you can commit as much as you can. And if you you see your mind, if you hear yourself internally speaking about another person or about a group or about other people, and just check yourself. You're like, oh, I'm going to stop here. Just, we all do it. But the more we catch ourselves, how about we do a reframe? How about we bring the energy back to us? How about we speak about something we're working on? How about we wish the best for that other person? How about, how about once we start to use that, the possibility energy, we've already left. It's like being a contender, like me against you. If you want to do it on your social media, of inviting others to literally, like for today, just say for this season, whenever you remember, if you're doing this tomorrow on the 17th of February on the new moon, or the next day, or whenever it is that you hear it, you can just say, I heard this challenge, this 24-hour challenge, this 40-day challenge, whatever, 2-day challenge, 3-day challenge, make it whatever, where we're not, even if when our children, like let's practice that even when like our children or our friends um, come to us with something that we don't complain back at them or like share the negative, like, they're sharing something to us and we're like, well, we don't know if that would work, or what do you think if, like we give them like the our worst possible scenario or what we have lived through. How about we not even do that? So just start to play. My invitation is that we all start to play in new, different ways with language and how we share it. Because again, Aquarius, third within the air elements, and we are the change makers. We are that we have been looking for. We do notice that when we start to be activated in these rites of passages, it's an anointing. It's like a priestess. We self anoint ourselves in these rites of passages, and we notice that we're doing that. And then I've noticed the change in all of these years. I'll share with you a story that I used to in I know I've shared this probably in one of the podcasts, but it's very, very relevant, where I was an activist in my children's public Montessori school. And so I'm sure you've heard NGOs, activists. I've been an activist or worked in NGOs for a long time. I don't anymore, for many, many, many years. But it's that energy of saving someone, of placing someone as the perpetrator and someone as the victim, And in this case, it was the headmaster towards the children, towards specifically the children of Latino and or Black community. And so, you know, all of the activism that you try to do and the words that are used. And I was supporting in supposedly, bringing change, having them, do it this way or that way. And I don't remember all the logistics to it, but what did forever change me, and I didn't even pray about this, it literally came to me as a gift, as grace. Literally, grace was showing up because I was doing my inner work around the shadow of the sacred, the shadow of the masculine. So obviously, if I was doing my inner work of the sacred, of the shadow of the masculine, where I was like, oh yeah, like I don't use power over my children. Oh yeah, I do. Like, Jimena, tend those layers before you talk about anybody else. Before you even, keep talking about your dad, or you keep talking about your past, or keep talking about this, this head of school. And I had a dream, and in the dream, I saw his essence, and I saw the woman who worked underneath him, who also held the same energy, the same kind of like using power over, discipline, but it's not discipline like, oh, let me be your disciple and serve you, oh, beautiful child. It's like power over, right? Where you notice where control gets more controlling, power is used over another person. You can feel it in energy and you can see it obviously in most of the systems that we continue to erect as humans. Let's not say that it's just the men. But most importantly, in that dream, I saw their essence. And when you see someone's essence clearly, when you see their love, their light, it it shatters. It shatters something within you where you can no longer other them. That is what is shattered. That is the number nine energy. Oh, I see you. I see myself. I see all that I've grown. It's kind of like the rite of passage as a first time mama. That was me then. This is me now as a mother. I woke up after that dream and it just hit me. Like I heard it and it hit me. What I heard was, well, I don't remember actually exactly what I heard, but I'll just translate. What I heard was like, you're done, Jimena. You're never going to do that again. And I know what that meant. That meant that I needed to go to, the people who we had been petitioning with and our little group that we'd formed and, the beautiful, and they're all beautiful. This is not like, but the moms in which we would talk and we would say like, they're doing this or they're not doing this, like we're othering them. And, and I've been supporting the Latinos, so I've been giving them my free time and I have been, volunteering and I. And I knew that I needed to stop all of it. And so that day I did. I shared with them. I can't even remember what or how I shared, but I did share a little bit that I just knew in my heart and in my soul, like I had heard, I can no longer do it this way. Like I wish the best for everybody, but it's almost like you stop taking sides. And when you stop taking sides of like my side is the victim and your side is wrong, normally that's the case. Or, the side of like, you're doing this wrong and I'm going to do this to you. Right. But what I'm trying to say is, after I let go of those old archetypes, of those old roles of savior, and of judge inside of me, and that uh, uh, harmonized within me, what happened was I could take new action steps I can't remember how long it was, but it was shortly after that that I remembered my dream to homeschool my children. So rather than condemning one or saving the other or anything, I remembered my sovereignty and I remembered my desire and I remembered I was free to do it. And so that is more of what I'm speaking to, the energy of creation, of now you can be standing in what you really, in like in your manifestation, what I call, it's not just manifesting, but it's like being in manifestor energy. Maybe remember during this upcoming season of Pisces that our dreams are necessary. Take time to dream, take time to hear, to see. If you see, like your intuitive knowing, however your intuition is manifested in the 3D or in your internal knowing system, your connection with your ancestors, with your spirit guides, your art and love and your creativity. Your dreams are worthy. Share them far and wide. Give space for other people's dreams and grant yourself, may we grant ourselves grace, permission, compassion, and love in the daily, as we take our beautiful baby steps in remembering our freedom, my dear. I'm going to end with a poem, if I can find it. One of my new short kind of poems that are alchemical transmissions. They're kind of a combination of all the seasons. And this one's very short and sweet. Freedom is not found. It fabulously flows forth from within when our fire flickers freely. Amen, beautiful one.